of this beautiful land. But that beautiful.
Hello and welcome to Small Talk, where we have small conversations with deep implications. I'm your host, Nate Pearson.
And I'm Ronald Taylor.
How are you doing today, Ron?
I'm good. We're ready to rock and roll, baby. How you doing?
Good. I'm saying this like we didn't have a 30-minute conversation before we hop in here.
How are you guys doing? How's everyone else doing today?
If someone responds, I'll give you $100.
Oh,
like right now. Like if you respond in this moment, not after the video.
Somebody call him right now. Just kidding. You can't because it's not live.
And that means you're doing things you're not supposed to if you call me right now.
Your FBI agent called me.
My handler. Oh, man. Oh, so second episode. Exciting times.
Yeah, absolutely. Super excited. I've gotten some pretty cool feedback from the podcast. So, man, guys, if you guys are listening and you really enjoy what you're hearing, don't hesitate to reach out and let us know. You won't be stroking our egos, I promise. We just need the encouragement to progress forward.
Yeah, we're not too big-headed. I'm physically big-headed, but not metaphorically. So.
Oh, yeah, I got a noggin.
All right. Well, I don't see anything better to do than to hop right into it.
Let's do it.
So, girlfriend messed with my sunscreen and ruined my vacation with my friends. Been with my girlfriend for 6 months. Things are going well. She does get jealous at times, but I think a lot of girls do. Had a vacation booked at my friend's since before we met to Cancun. First day I get there, it's crazy hot. I have pale skin. I always wear Factor 50 sunscreen so I don't burn. I was laid out in the sun for about 6 hours in pool and sea. Didn't feel burnt, but then I got back to the hotel. I started to feel sick and my body was red all over. I was sick and stayed in that hotel all evening in agony. Could barely walk from being so burnt. Messaged my girlfriend and said that what had happened. I thought the UV was just super insane and I burnt. She replied and sent a crying laughing emoji, and she said she swapped my Factor 50 and replaced it with Factor 2 for a joke. I haven't spoke to her for 4 days now and am only just recovering from my sunburn and able to walk normally as my legs were very burnt. I am now peeling though, haven't left the hotel room at all, just had friends bring me food while they went out and partied. Not sure what to do. Is this something to break up over, or am I overreacting? I feel like she did this as she was jealous I would hook up with other girls while I was away from her.
Holy cow. That is messed up.
It is terrible. Man. As a ginger, I can't imagine this situation.
Daggone. Yeah, man, there's a lot to unpack there. I feel like it was a genuine prank. Like, I don't feel like there was a lot of like malcontent there because she like sent the crying laughing emojis back. She was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna mess with the sunscreen, like that'll be funny, not realizing like what that consequence would be.
Did he reapply any while he was out there for 6 hours? Because if not, that's on you. Even if you had the Factor 50,
that's on you, boo-boo.
I think he's overthinking it. I don't think she was trying to stop him from hooking up with other girls.
Yeah.
I mean...
Excuse me. Yeah, I feel like part of that, I think there needs to be a conversation there to begin with anyway, because he went into that, like, not trusting. Right? Like, his first inclination was like, oh, she's jealous and doesn't want me meeting anybody else or doing anything else, and so on and so forth. And so if that's your first thought, if that's your first inclination, there needs to be another conversation there and a reevaluation of like y'all's trust level and how you guys are doing. Because if that happened with me, and granted, like I'm married, but if my wife did that to me as a prank, my first thought would not be, oh, she is like trying to sabotage my trip and doesn't want me talking to anybody else.
Divorce his wife.
Like, so that's the first red flag. Secondly, you went 4 days without talking to her. Like,
that's intense.
Like, okay,
he's the emotional one in this relationship.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. So it's like that's the other red flag is like, dude, y'all need to, like, yeah, okay, you're angry, maybe take a day, send her a text and be like, hey, I need to process this, I'm pretty upset right now. And then like come together and talk about it, but don't just ghost your girlfriend because like your initial thought was that she like did this to do something bad.
all that's going to happen is he's mad now. He's not going to talk to her and get mad at her. She's going to get mad, and he's going to have to end up apologizing for something that happened to him. I've been in that situation too many times.
Yeah, absolutely. And the crazy thing is, like, you look at how that series of events went, and I think it happens so often in conflict is that people don't give people the benefit of the doubt. They just go, oh man, they wanted to harm me, like they wanted to hurt me. And so that perception that you have fuels how you like instigate that conversation rather than coming into it with a blank slate, you know?
Yeah, you went from miscommunication to no communication, and that's the step in the wrong direction. Yeah,
absolutely. Because, like, I think had she had done that with that, like, malintent, she would have been like, oh, you're not talking to any girls now, are you? Or so on and so forth, right? But she sent crying, laughing emoji. So she's like, you got burnt, didn't you? Instead of realizing, like, that actually debilitated him, and he's been laid up in a hotel room for days with his like friends bringing him food.
He might not have initially expressed how bad it was to her when he sent that initial text too.
Yeah,
because I don't know if he said that he was sick and debilitated, that she would have sent crying, laughing emojis.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, she may. I don't know. It may be a darker sense of humor.
Red flag number 3, and you need to get out of that relationship because you guys are just messed up altogether.
Oh, man. Rolling the ball out with trust issues and sunburn. All right, so here we go. One of my friends is threatening to tell my parents about a fake ID if I don't delete a post on Instagram. I don't know what to do because even if I delete this post, he's going to keep using this whenever he wants me to do something. I can't necessarily cut ties with him either because he's a family friend and I will still see him. I don't know what to do.
Blackmail.
What's the post?
Wow. Blackmail.
I can't think of an Instagram post that's that serious unless it involves some type of relationship or the other person's doing something wrong.
Yeah, no doubt. It's definitely a blackmail scenario where it doesn't go well for anybody, really. You know, so it's like, go ahead.
What if he flips it around and says, "I'm not going to ever delete that post if you show my parents the fake ID"?
Yeah, it's like, that's the crazy thing. So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to tell people about your fake ID if you don't delete the post. And so it's like, you delete the post, you don't get found out with your fake ID, or so on and so forth. But it's like, for one, you're stupid because you have a fake ID. I will stand by that. Like, stop with all the fake ID mess. Like, that means you're too young to be acting grown. Stop trying to act grown. All right, everybody listening, throw the fake ID away, because as of right now, it's only getting you in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing, like, not condoning this. It's one thing to sneak alcohol. It's another to have a fake ID. That means you're going out in places and doing things and buying stuff, and that's where you get yourself into major trouble.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no doubt.
I don't think, unless he has super overprotective parents, unless he's like 16 and doing this, I don't see them flipping out. If he's 18 or 19, I mean, I see them flipping out if he's like 16 or 17. But once you get into 18, 19 legal adult territory, I don't see any parent getting like super crazy mad over this. I think there would be some repercussions, but you know.
Yeah, and I think realistically, it just depends on how important that Instagram post is to you too. It's like, first off, it's an Instagram post. So what is so serious about this post that you're willing to, like, jeopardize your fake ID if it means that much to you?
It's just like a post of his dog.
Yeah. But it's like the guy having an affair with his dog or something. I don't know. But it's like, it doesn't make sense, you know? So it's like, okay, one hand, you just take the L, right? If the Instagram post is that much, that means that much to you, like, take the L, lose that license, you know, that fake ID, and whatever repercussion may come with your parents, because at the end of the day, that repercussion is going to be drastically less than what would happen with the law, right? Because if a police officer found you with a fake ID, especially trying to use that fake ID as a minor, like, those repercussions are so much more anyway.
Yeah,
so that's why I'm saying, like, as counsel, just get rid of the fake ID. Like, wait until you're 21 to do whatever it is that you want to do at 21, you know?
This feels like a who has a bigger gun situation.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't think either one of them is that serious to the other individual. That now they're at a holdout. Like,
yeah. It's that Mexican standoff. They're all just like pointing gun at each other. Yeah, so I think, man, yeah, that's going to be your choice, though. It's like whether you want to face those repercussions and get rid of that fake ID, or if the post isn't that important, just get rid of the post. You know, like, especially if it's something, because here's my thing on top of that. If it's a post that somebody wants you to take down, it means it is harming them emotionally in some way, right? Like, this is bothering them in some way. And so, and just as humans, right? Not even like as believers, but like as humans, like, I mean, you should take loving somebody over harming them or making them feel a certain type of way about a post anyway. So I would say, man, just get rid of the post. Like, be the bigger man or woman. I don't remember who they were.
Get rid of the post and throw away the fake ID, and then no one has anything to worry about either way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, this is, say, I, a 27-year-old female, don't fit in with this generation of dating. I have a Twitter and use TikTok, that's it. I don't have Instagram, Snapchat, or Facebook. I feel like when I'm dating a guy, they obviously have more of those socials, so I feel like I'm competing with these other girls they scroll and see on their timeline. And I have a theory that guys like seeing their girl wanted by other guys like they won, and have these guys want, or have what those guys want. It feeds their ego. I don't even care to even take a lot of pictures. I will here and there, but I get uncomfortable behind the camera. I know I'm attractive. I get compliments when I do post on Twitter, which is rare, or in public a lot. I just never care to be invested in social media. Then there's online dating. I already don't take a lot of pictures. I do get a lot of guys that approach me, compliment me, would want to take me out, etc. But it just seems like they'd rather get a girl they feel like they have to chase around that has hundreds of followers and is all over social media with a lot of likes. That's who gets the relationship treatment. It's that social media validation. Can anyone else relate? How do I compete? You're going to have to read next week, Ron.
Yeah, dude. Like, one side of that is like, one of the biggest phrases, comparison is the thief of all joy, right? And so it's like, the last thing we need to do is, I think one side, like, fantastic on her for not being on social media, because I think that is the biggest thing that'll tear down your being, tear down your emotion, tear down your self-worth, who you think you are, like your value, because comparison is the thief of all joy, right? People post on Instagram and Facebook, all of social media, the best of what they think they have, right? You're not seeing reality, you're not seeing genuine truth. And so on the one hand, it's like, she is true, like she is speaking truth about men, some men in that regard, but those are not men that she should want to be in a relationship with.
I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah, it's like, these are not men that you want to affiliate yourself with or have chasing you, because like, those men exist. So she hit the nail on the head right there, but that is not what you want. You know, you want somebody that's going to value you. You're going to want somebody that is going to value your worth and your beauty and your personality for who you are and what you have to offer in the real world, because those guys are also the same guys that are chasing that perfection that they see on Instagram and on social media, like, as a whole. And it's going to get to a point where you're not going to be enough, right?
Yeah. You're also going to want to find a guy who values security in a relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there are guys that want girls that other guys want. I've never understood that personally. Because, I mean, I don't like to use the term jealous, but I have a jealous streak in me. And I think every guy should, to an extent, care if other people are looking at their significant other in a certain way. I think that's natural, and I think that's healthy. As long as they don't act negatively on it. But you don't want someone who's out there just looking for people to want what he has, because that means he probably feels the same way about himself. He probably wants other girls to look at him and to value him. And you shouldn't care about that when you're in a committed relationship.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, we definitely, there's a sense of jealousy in a way of, like, you know, as believers, we know that God is jealous for us, right? Like, he has an ownership and a love for us and a desire for us to where we are belonging to him. And so as men with wives, as you and I, like, we're to be jealous for our wives and to guard them and hold them close and protect them and to want what's best for them and for ourselves as a unit. But like, that jealousy that we're looking at where we want other men to be looking at our wives, like, no, dude, like, skip that. Like, that is not the the factor of a man that you want. You know, you don't want a man that wants you to dress immodestly and to put yourself out there and to flaunt on social media because he thinks you're a trophy, right? Because trophies only go on shelves. Like, you don't have an intimate relationship with a trophy, and if you do, there's also something wrong with your brain. So like we should cherish our wives, but just for us, you know, like the way the Lord is jealous and cherishes us. Don't forget all the guys that are out there with, you know, chasing other girls or looking at other girls or wanting other guys to look at you to make you feel like they've won the game, right? This is not a game. Like, it's an emotional battle as much as it is a physical battle, you know, and a spiritual battle. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that jealousy we described, that godly jealousy, is a characteristic of love. It's almost like you got the two types of jealousy, the sinful kind and the godly kind. And
the lust jealousy versus the love jealousy.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah, for sure.
It's Ron's book coming out for the fall.
Oh man, I bet by the time this podcast like gets some traction, we'll have a book written some way, somehow.
Oh man, what kind of book? I don't know, but it'll be something.
Horror stories.
We could write a book just on the Small World podcast that will have been released last Thursday when this comes out.
Oh yeah,
just that episode.
No doubt. That was completely off the rails for sure.
Go check that out. Shameless plug right in here. Okay, so got a job promotion, then demotion before I even started. I'm pretty much lost for what I should do in this situation. Been working at a hotel for about 9 months and have been doing extremely well, doing more than I'm asked, and I'm working 7 days a week, 8 hours a day because they're short staffed at other hotels. 8 hours a day. They're short-staffed at other hotels the hotel the owner owns. It's important to note that I'm only 22 years old, and the average age of employees there has to be 30. 2 weeks ago, my GM told me that I'll be starting as the front desk manager in a week due to the performance and constant compliments from guests, and I was also reaffirmed by our regional manager that they wanted me in the position. Today, over a week later, after I was supposed to start my position and have a raise, I am told I still need to prove myself for the time being, and I will not be receiving this promotion or the raise. I then asked, what do I need to do to prove myself, and I was told to keep doing what I'm doing. This is a huge slap in the face because I overworked myself for them and easily do the best out of all the front desk agents, which wouldn't be argued by anyone. I feel that all I've done is prove myself, at a loss for words or actions to say and take at this point. I just feel hopeless. Any advice or actions to take? ?
Dang.
Yeah.
That's brutal. Yeah, the first action I would say right off the bat is to be looking for another job. Like, I would not say quit, because obviously once you quit, your income goes away and you kind of put yourself in a whole nother bind. But man, like I would be looking at other options, especially because management just kind of shot themselves in the foot there by promising something immediately and not delivering on that. And so if this is the first time that happened, like it probably most definitely won't be the last.
Yeah.
You know, what are your thoughts?
I'm all for hard work in that spirit, but I'm also all for never selling yourself out to a company and overworking yourself, because they do not care about you as much as you care about that job. And I can promise you that every single time, because it's just structured to be a business and make money. It's not structured for employee satisfaction. And there are companies that do a great job at keeping their employees satisfied. But yeah, I mean, if you come in off the bat and you're working 7 days a week, 8-hour shifts, you're already doing too much, and they're going to take advantage of that. You have to, which, I mean, maybe that is why they considered you for the promotion, but I've been in similar positions or seen similar positions, especially, but like where people worked and they said, if you just do a little bit more, we're going to give you that promotion, or they'll give them just a little bit of a raise just to drag them along, and it's ugly.
Yeah, and especially if you're working 7 days a week, you're just going to burn out so much quicker. You know, like I am one to say, like work your tail off. Like as believers, as if you're not a believer, even as a human, like you should give 100% of yourself all the time.
Yeah.
Like, because it represents who you are, right? Like your labor, like your toiling is a representative of who you are and your character. But it's like, man, you're right. Like in that regard though, and even the Lord established a day of rest, right? Take a day off, like be with your friends, be with your family, but work hard, give all that you have. But also in the same regard, like if they come in with saying that stuff, like they will take advantage of you. And I think that's exactly what we saw here. They're like, oh yeah, they're doing this, they're working their tail off, and they're not letting up, and maybe they're even doing what that assistant job partook or entailed, without the pay raise. And so it's like, oh yeah, we're going to let you keep doing this because it's not going to take anything from us. You're just going to keep giving and giving and giving. But that doesn't benefit you in any way. Your job should also benefit you. Like we work for companies in exchange for money, right? In exchange for assets. And so in that, like, yeah, I would be looking for something else for sure.
And with a company like that, it's okay to take on some additional task. Like, say, yeah, if they ask you to do it this one time, do it. But if it becomes a regular occurrence, you have to sit down and have that conversation for yourself and be like, if I'm doing this extra work, then I deserve extra pay, in a respectful way. Like, you don't want to go in there and throw your fist on the table and be like, it's not worth all that. But I relate too closely to the situation. So
yeah, no, sure. No, yeah, I mean, my wife she's experienced a lot of unfair treatment, like in the workplace in the past. And so, like, even to the point of not even being paid on time, right? And I think employers being, regardless of whether it's a startup or how things are going for them, it's like, you need to compensate your employees fairly, right? And so through that, like, she ended up leaving that organization. And if you're at this hotel and you're doing the same job as another assistant manager or another manager and things don't seem right, like, don't be afraid to speak up for yourself. Like people need to stand their ground. You need to stand your ground, but do things in a gentle and loving manner, and how we would interact with people, period. Man, stand firm, because you don't know what would happen if you don't say anything, because you're going to be miserable and not saying something versus speaking up and speaking truth, but in a way that's not arrogant, prideful, or mean.
Yes.
Right.
And they also may be taking advantage of the age in that situation.
Oh, yeah.
If you have a younger employee with a bunch of older employees, there's kind of, not all the time, but sometimes there's a pay your dues kind of expectation.
Yeah.
So just something to be wary of.
Yeah.
And I don't want to... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was going to say, I don't want to speak too much on the situation because I don't know your exact, like, who you're working with, what they're like. But that's just one possible scenario.
Right. Yeah, and I think there's also even an age, like, something like that, you're kind of really coming into the workforce for the first time, and there's a sense of, like, naivety. What's the
naive?
What's the current
naivety? I don't know.
Yeah.
What is it?
I don't know. I just say naive, so I don't even know what it is.
I think you're right. No.
Naivety?
Naiveness? No.
It's a T-Y word.
Yeah, it is. The naiveties is spelled with, like, a bunch of different, like, dots and slashes over the letters, though.
Oh, man. I
forgot the term.
I don't know. I'm just dumb. If you guys know what it is, send an email.
In the words of Chris Long, I'm not going to argue over
audio.
the...
Give me a second. We're having some technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties.
I love my life. Give me 1 second.
All right, you're good. To make it easy.
That was brutal.
We were talking about naivety.
Yeah, naivety. That's the right word. Did I say that?
I think so.
I think it just sounds weird because I don't ever say it.
I think, the conclusion we came to is the word naivety.
I think that's the right word.
If it's not right, I mean, then it is what it is.
Yeah, if it's not right and you're listening and you know it's right, send us an email at smalltalk.smallworldmedia@gmail.com with some advice, questions, and scenarios, the right way to say the word, and then while you're at it, just go ahead and go to Spotify and YouTube and give 5-star ratings. And
might as well. I mean,
everything will be great.
What else are you doing? Like, let's be honest here. Like,
you're already on your phone and or computer, so
unless you're the person from our last topic, or the one before that. All right. So I got one more. We might do another one if we have time.
Okay.
Is it petty of me to remove my friends from my Netflix? I have a premium Netflix account and gave the password to two of my closest friends since they wanted to watch shows. My relationship with them isn't the best, and I really don't want to be close with them anymore. Would it be petty of me to tell them that I'm going to cancel my subscription, even if I'm just changing the password? They really don't deserve any good from me anymore, and what they have done to me is horrible, and I'm not okay with it. Edit, I changed it and won't say anything. Thank you guys for making me realize that I'm not obligated to explain anything. They edit.
So one,
do you think they did the right thing in that situation?
Is Netflix the only thing holding your friendship together? Because as of right now, it doesn't even sound like you're friends anymore, right?
Oh, man.
Like, okay, that strange. First off, two, yeah, you're not obligated to give your Netflix password to anybody. And actually, I'm pretty sure Netflix would say, "Hey, stop that," because it's two people that aren't paying for Netflix.
Based on the way they did it, though, I think they should have just talked to the people and told them, hey, instead of just like changing. I mean, you can just change the password on it. You don't have to explain it, but I mean, I think I would just change the password if I'm being honest. But like, I hate to say it, but if it boiled down to someone I really don't want to talk to, but honestly, wouldn't it give you kind of a sense of I don't want to say a sense of like getting back at them, but like kind of just like a happy sense of saying, hey, since we're not that close anymore, I'd rather just have my Netflix for myself and maybe share the password just with some other people in the future that I'm close with, because you can only share it with so many people and use so many screens at once.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one side of that, if there's kind of a falling out, I don't think, it takes a rocket scientist for them to realize, they changed their password because I was being a butt bunch to them. And that makes sense. Like, 2 and 2 does make 4. But also, like, if they felt really strongly about it, you could literally say one of two things, right? One, hey, I'm going to change my Netflix password because I'm paying for it and you aren't. And I just want to be the only one using it. Or two, hey, you guys have passwords to this? I'm going to need y'all to slide me some money to pay for this $13 a month.
Yeah. Well, now it's like, if they're premium, it's like $23.
Oof. Yeah. I mean, it's like, that's lots of money, So
That's a lot of money.
You can either, hey, slide me some money, pay for this Netflix, or, hey, I'm spending this money, you're not. You're kind of a butthole to me. I'm going to change this password and go about my merry way, right?
Yeah.
And, like, you can also just change the password. Like, they don't deserve anything because they're already, like, freeloading off of your Netflix. You don't owe them an explanation at all, especially if there's a falling out there. So, yeah, change that Netflix
You were doing
password.
them a favor.
Send me the Netflix password.
Yes, if you're watching this, send us a Netflix password and we'll send you $5
I will be
a
your
piece a
friend.
month.
I will give you some advice.
Yeah,
I will have you...
I pay way too much for streaming services, and I have YouTube TV.
We actually split YouTube TV with a friend, so like we split that 3 ways. But
Okay,
we pay for it, 3 ways, so it's actually kind of affordable. So
I would have done that, but everyone else I split with lives outside of my area, so it would YouTube TV. If you're in a different area, they're like you're traveling.
yeah, no doubt. Also, YouTube, if you're listening, I don't split YouTube TV 3 ways.
Yeah, I mean it's Google. They heard everything.
I pay for it all.
Ron's a big baller. He pays for everything. All right,
I'm pretty sure we use my father-in-law's Netflix.
We're the person that gives out everything. We aren't the person that gets to share stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm pretty sure we trade off. I think we have their Netflix login and they have our Hulu. So I think that's the exchange there.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's a fair trade. Hulu's the less valuable, but it's a fair trade.
Yeah, it is. Well, I think they also have our Disney Plus too.
Oh, okay.
I think
that balance. That's a balance.
I think that evens out there.
All right, last one. Date canceled on me for a baseball game. Should I post that I'm selling the tickets on IG, or would that make her feel bad? My date canceled on me to go to a baseball game tonight, and I need to sell the tickets. I posted them on StubHub, but I'm also thinking about putting them on Instagram to get a buyer. She canceled on me because she says she's kind of going through something and doesn't want to be around anyone. My friends told me that it might make her feel bad if she sees me selling them on Instagram. Should I just take the StubHub?
One, find new friends, because I don't think that is weird at all, right?
No.
I think it would actually make her feel better to know that you're not going at all because she's not going, right?
Or
I think
that she didn't cost you anything.
Right.
Like,
yeah. Because I think, that's exactly it, right? One, she feels bad because you bought these tickets and they're going to waste. Or two, you found another date to go to this baseball game with, right?
yeah.
Or three, like, you saw them on Instagram and she's like, oh, like, if I were a female, I'd be like, oh, yeah, like, that's perfect because he's going to be able to get his money back. I don't feel bad anymore. And we're still going to be able to have our date eventually.
Option 4, less favorable. She wasn't interested and doesn't care.
This is Dog Park Girl, isn't it?
Already referencing an episode. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think that's weird at all, man. Go sell those tickets on Instagram. Try to get your money back. Or send them to us, and we can use them as a giveaway on the podcast. You know,
Yeah,
either way,
I
I
mean,
don't care.
This game was 2 weeks ago. Imagine. Oh,
Some ticket refunds. But yeah, man, sell those tickets on Instagram.
I mean, I'd be scalping in the parking lot. No, I wouldn't. I was just joking. I that's one of the worst feelings when you go into a sporting event. Someone walks up and tries to sell you tickets. Why am I going to try to buy tickets if I'm walking up to the sporting event? Because I mean, I guess if I haven't bought them already, but still, I have. This is going to sound bad, unless it's like a minor sporting event. I don't mean this disrespectfully, but I have less respect for people who buy their tickets at the game. I just feel like
what kind of gambler are you?
Yeah, you're running it way too close. Like you are living on the edge. Way too
risky for my blood.
Like you can, like even if you aren't comfortable with the internet, I'm sure there's a way to call and get tickets or something like that. Not waiting till the day of. Like that's acceptable for movie theaters, and even then, I buy my tickets before I go to the movie.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I feel that. Like my anxiety would be way too high for me to like drive a distance to go see a game somewhere, and like the risk of it being sold out.
Oh yeah. If I'm going to like a minor league baseball game, I'll buy tickets there. I'm not pressed. But even then, I'm still probably buying them beforehand.
Oh yeah. Like if I'm going to the Mudcats, I'm buying tickets beforehand.
Planned.
Also, Mudcats, if you want to sponsor us.
Yeah.
Holler at your boy.
I work in your town. So
smalltalk.smallworldmedia.com at Mudcats.
At Mudcats.
Hit us up for some potential sponsorship and partnership possibilities.
100% down. Well, Ron, anything you want to say before we head out?
No, I think I'm good. Yeah, if you guys like what you hear, once again, man, send us a 5-star review. Let us know what you like, and go find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating. The more you guys review, the more you guys follow, the more we'll come up on searches, and the more we'll be, sent out there to people. It's all in the algorithm. So, man, if you guys love us and care about us, take the few seconds it would to send something in, or to leave a review or a comment or something like that. So
yeah. And I will try to get our small talk overlords to post a Q&A this week. But
that would be great.
If you can't, post them there. Post them to our, as we said, our email, smalltalk@smallworldmedia@gmail.com. And we will see you next week on the Small Talk Podcast.
Boom. See you guys next week. Have a great week, guys.
But the